Our first speaker and our keynote speaker for this morning is the president of the here at UH, M.R.C. Greenwood. I met in August of 2009. I think the weekend that she started, she went out to Maui for an event, and ever since that time, she has been a go-getter. She's not only a scientist, a renowned person in the field that she is from, but really a leader, not only here in Hawaii, but certainly throughout the country. And it's been my pleasure to get to know her. I can attest firsthand how hard she works. She is around the globe and around the country, and we are very fortunate to have her as the president of UH here. So I'd like to bring up M.R.C. Greenwood.
Well, aloha. Oh, you can do a little better than that. Aloha. Well, good morning, everyone, and I'm delighted to be here this morning. First, I'd like to thank our Irene Harana-Inouye for inviting me to be here today. She is herself one of the great exemplars of women's leadership in a number of arenas. And those of us who have gotten to know her career want to thank her for all of the contributions that she has made to the philanthropic world, to the art museum, and now in the U.S.-Japan collaboration, and I'm sure many more contributions to come. So thank you so much for including me this morning. I considered it a tremendous honor to be asked to come and speak with all of you on this very auspicious occasion. So we're here, as you all know, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the signing of the U.S.-Japan Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security, and especially to look forward to the next 50 years. It's actually a very auspicious time for us to be talking about 50th anniversaries, because those of you who know a bit about Hawaii will know that we've also just recently celebrated the 50th anniversary of statehood here in the state of Hawaii. And like the treaty and the agreement between the U.S. and Japan, we as a state have matured. The University of Hawaii, which I represent, has matured. This alliance has matured. And we're all facing a global world and a lot of challenges for the future. So I think it's a very good time not to just be talking about how well this alliance has been and the things we've accomplished, but to look ahead at the important work that we have to do for the future. It will be a challenge, but the things that face us all, and one of the particular emphasis, as I will mention in a few moments, is the emphasis on trying to green our countries, our state, to try to find the ways to leave a better world for our children, and in fact, to help those children, whether they are in Japan or here in Hawaii, or on the mainland, or in the Asia-Pac countries, to try to help those children understand that they are now the Ohana, that the Ohana cannot be so isolated as a single state or a single country. And that's what I hope that the discussions that you have today will lead to. Now, I'm also on the host committee for the APEC meeting, which, as you will know, and if you don't know, the next panel will probably explicate this in many different ways for you. But we're very, very honored here in Hawaii to have been the chosen site for the next APEC meeting. I had the opportunity to go to Yokohama as part of the host committee's visit. And it was a wonderful learning experience for all of us, and we appreciate our Japanese colleagues who were so kind and generous and helped us understand the details of the meeting. Our wonderful Senator Inouye was there, and he noted that APEC, he was the luncheon speaker. I always feel very intimidated by having to follow an event that he has spoken in, because any of you who have ever had to do that know that he is rather an intimidating speaker. So I'm just going to quote him, because it's easier to quote him than try to make up something myself. But when he was talking about APEC, he really pointed out that it provides an opportunity for industry and policymakers to come together to discuss the concerns and then move forward amicably. That word amicably is very important. This APEC is a forum that promotes openness and understanding of diverse cultural, historical, economic backgrounds. And as he said, what a better place to host APEC. There is no better place to host APEC than here in Hawaii. We are in so many ways, the alliance between the U.S. and Japan has been without doubt one of the most critical strategic alliances. It has been very important for security, and it is increasingly important as the Asia-Pac region develops. We too are a very important we are in a very important strategic place. We are also a very important place for commerce. We're also a very important place for people to have those few wonderful moments that they treat themselves to in the way of and vacation and the opportunity for they and their families to experience the kind of peace and wonder and beauty that you can find only in Hawaii. Hawaii has built this thriving economy, but there's much more to do. When I was asked to speak, Irene asked me if I would talk a little bit about the role of the University of Hawaii in this growing ohana, in the changing world we all live in. And the University of Hawaii has also matured. 50 years ago, we really were a university that had already been around for a while, but we were not that well known internationally. That has changed dramatically, particularly over the last decade. As the state's sole system of public higher education, the University of Hawaii does play a very central role in developing and disseminating knowledge and training our workforce. We have a huge, unique advantage here in Hawaii, which we intend to exploit and to help use as an example both on the mainland and hopefully in the Asia-Pac region as well. And that is because, unlike many of our sister states, the University of Hawaii has the research university, baccalaureate institutions, and the community colleges all in one system. So we are able to get people into the same room to talk about, if we are going to create a green workforce, what does that mean? What will we need to teach in the community colleges? What will we need to change? What kinds of baccalaureate and professional master's degrees are going to be necessary? How will we need to change our business school programs? What will be the different laws that have to be taught in law school? Because we are talking about environmental laws in an arena where we still don't know what the international norms will be. So we consider that while we are in the middle, as my colleague at the University of Hawaii, Manoa, Virginia Hinshaw likes to say, we're in the middle of the blue continent. And that is not only a fascinating concept in terms of geographical location, it's also very important strategically. Now, the university's changed, as I said, in many ways. We are now bringing approximately $450 million a year into the state in extramural funding. A lot of that from the federal government, but not exclusively. Some of it is private, et cetera. That's about $1 million, a little more than $1 million a day, that brings in new ideas, knowledge, and products. Many organizations, many countries, and many states do not consider education a revenue center. They consider it a cost center. But in fact, as universities mature and they become more and more embedded in the future of states, countries, and for that matter, our global ohana, they also become important job generators, et cetera. So for the $450 million that we bring into the state, and there aren't a whole lot of other companies in the state that are doing that kind of business, about 70 to 80% of that is jobs. Individuals that people were supporting, technicians, janitors, and also, of course, graduate students and scientists and scholars of various kinds. So this changing idea that universities are also part of the economic world, I believe, is going to affect the Asia-Pacific region in some very important ways over the next decade or two. The kinds of relationships that universities are building tend to be more and more strategic alliances and less student exchange. And we will hopefully be a leader in helping in the Asia-Pac region to establish those alliances and to make them meaningful, long-term, and enduring, just as this strategic alliance that we're celebrating today has been. So if I had a wish for the next 50 years, it would be that this new model of how we relate to each other, people to people, education to education, nation to nation, state to nation, that goes a step beyond and becomes something really significant that we and our children can look on as the next stage of global cooperation, understanding, and significant improvement in our lives and hopefully our environment and our planet as well. Now, The University of Hawaii is also very proud of some of the international and other efforts that we have engaged in. I'm just going to give a few of them to you because I was also instructed not to go on too long, and I know we're also a little bit behind schedule. So I'm going to cut some of the wonderful remarks I was going to make about the wonders of the University of Hawaii a little short. And any of you who are deeply interested in this should come and see me, or we could just mail you or email you a large number of wonderful things that you need to know. But I do want to point out just a few things. You know, the University of Hawaii is incredibly well known and getting better all the time in a few important areas. One that's important increasingly is our College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, so-called CTAR here. These investigators in CTAR are the ones that are the first responders here in Hawaii when invasive species like the varroa mite or the coffee bearer berry borer threaten the economy. Sorry about that. So this is also very important to the whole region because in a way we are a sentinel for invasive species. It could also be the case that we are very important if there are emerging diseases in terms of early detection, etc. You probably do know already that the University of Hawaii and the Hawaiian Islands is probably an unrivaled environment and natural laboratory for studies in earth and ocean sciences and renewable energy. Many of the programs that we have here already have partnerships with various countries and particularly Japan. Our Institute for Astronomy is one of the largest and the most respected university programs in the world. As this new telescope, the 30-meter telescope, is constructed, we will have partnerships with Japan and a number of the other significant Asia-Pac countries and universities as well. We are very pleased in the telescope area that the Advanced Technology Solar Telescope, which will be the largest solar telescope in the world, will now be constructed in partnership with the National Science Foundation. This will attract scientists and investigators from all over the world, and we know that some of them will be coming from Japan. Another very important program that I want to talk about is that Hawaii is the most remote archipelago in the world, and we remain also the most petroleum-dependent state in the nation. And as you will be discussing later, Hawaii is almost 7 times greater in its dependence on petroleum to generate electricity compared to the next closest state here in the United States. With the natural resources available to us, wind, sun, ocean, and volcanoes, we believe that we can reduce our dependence and become a leader for the country and in the Asia-Pac region. Japan is a very critical partner as we look forward to this, and the recently established Okinawa-Hawaii joint relationship to reduce energy dependence is, I think, a kind of a, if you will, an early indicator of the kind of alliances that we're seeing. And the university is hoping to play an increasingly larger role in that. We are working to try to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels here in the state of Hawaii by 70% by the year 2030. That's an extremely aggressive goal for energy reduction. There are a multitude of problems that need to be resolved, which range from, as you will also, I believe, be talking about at some point today, grid problems, energy generation problems, stability of a variety of energy resources, and then the entire regulatory framework on what actually counts and what do you charge for and how can that be changed so that we have the capacity to harness these resources for the future. I just returned, literally yesterday, from a visit this week to our National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Colorado, NREL. It's the only federal laboratory that's dedicated to research, development, commercialization, and deployment of renewable energy and energy-efficient technologies, and it leads the way for us nationally in helping to meet the growing demand for clean energy. We're exploring now how the University of Hawaii will form a partnership with NREL so that we can continue here in Hawaii to be a test bed for new technologies, but far beyond that, to create the new curriculum, the new pathways, the new definitions of the jobs for the future. It's estimated that there are currently about 9,000 jobs here in Hawaii that are classified as green, and there's an estimate that that could increase over the next 2 years by more than 27%. We're not ready for that academically. We have to build very quickly, but having committed to a relationship with NREL and working forward, I believe that Hawaii can lead the way and not only be able to implement, but that the University of Hawaii could be the leader in the United States for the kind of curriculum and advancement that we need, and that is our goal. Our goal is to be the best performing system of higher education in the United States, and furthermore to provide leadership in this really critical area for Hawaii's future by transforming the way the system looks at higher education and working with both our state government, our federal government, and hopefully with partners in alliances such as the U.S.-Japan program. So I want to thank you very, very much for inviting me to be here today. It looks like an extraordinary program. I expect I'm going to learn a great deal more than I have just offered you, and I will be honored to do so. Thank you again.